of you to this program. We are discussing verse number 19 and 20 from chapter number 4. So here's the first verse which says, Yasya sarve samarambhaha kama sankalpa varjitaha jnanagni dagdha karmanam tamahuhu panditam buddhaha. One is understood to be in the full knowledge whose every endeavor is devoid of desire for sense gratification. He is said by sages to be a worker for whom the reactions of work have been burned up by the fire of perfect knowledge. So, we are talking about perfect knowledge here. What is perfect knowledge? Okay, perfect knowledge is to understand about our position. Okay, it's something like, let's say that you're staying in a place and there's a very important person, celebrity, okay, whom you did not know, who is your neighbor, okay, and every day you are talking to that person very casually, or your dealings are very casual, let us say. But the moment you realize that, okay, here this person is very important person, okay, then how would your mindset change? Yeah, how would your mindset change? You'll start giving that person a lot of respect first of all. That's like the step number one, right? And let us say that person is the chief minister of the state and you didn't realize that so long, okay, and then let's say you realize that he's the prime minister, he's like the head of the country, I mean, who you did not know that, okay. So as long as you did not know how to respect that person, how to serve that person, you did not know. Let's say that you got to know that he is like the king, so then you know your position. Are you understanding what I'm saying? We understand our position. This happens to us every day, right? I mean, it's common scenario, right? Sometimes we see somebody and suddenly somebody says, do you know who is that? Then we suddenly our mindset completely shifts. Yes or no? Our mindset shifts, no? We suddenly become very alert and then we say, uh, oh, it's you. Sorry, I think I've not spoken to you properly. Please tell me, how can I serve you? You see, this is the exact thing. At the moment, the conditioned living entity does not have knowledge. And what is that knowledge? What do you mean by knowledge? Are we trying to say that the conditioned living entity is not educated, is not literate, didn't go to school, or maybe didn't have bachelor degree or master degree? We're not talking about the material education. Material education is not enough. Material education is almost like learning ABCD. See, I can learn ABCD, grammar, everything, but that doesn't help me. So if I'm working in an office, I must know who is my superior and how to serve that superior management. Okay, we are trying to serve the management because the management is trying to serve the board. The board is trying to serve the company. See, the company is trying to make some money. It's a business. So there's a hierarchy. So our knowledge of ABCD is not enough. ABCD knowledge is necessary, but that's not enough. That's just the first level knowledge. The actual knowledge is to know about what is my position. So I have to understand what's my position in this company. This is the basic knowledge that we have to understand. Even this happens in a family also. A lot of times the relationships crash because we don't understand how we fit within the family. If there's a family, let's say there is a family which is a joint family, the elders, superiors, and their youngers. So if we mistakenly think that we are the superior, then the problem starts. Is it not? Yes, you can relate with this, right? So that's the problem. So we have to understand our position and understand the position of the superior. If there is a superior, we have to understand what is his position. I have to understand what is my position, and then I have to act accordingly. As long as we are acting in this knowledge, understanding my position and understanding the position of my authority, at that time everything will be very smooth, very happy. As long as this equation is going on, everything will be fine in our life, in office, everywhere, even in devotional life. So here Krishna and Arjuna are speaking. Arjuna is thinking that Krishna is his peer. He's thinking, okay, he was born along with me. He's my friend. And he has also agreed to become my chariot driver. So he's taking it very casually in the beginning of Bhagavad-gītā. But then after Krishna has explained, and Krishna is still explaining, okay, Arjuna is still not convinced yet, okay. At around 10th chapter, Arjuna becomes completely convinced. So until that chapter, Krishna is explaining who he is. First of all, he says that I have given this knowledge to the Sun God. This knowledge is eternal. And this knowledge has been lost in the disciplic succession. That's when Arjuna asks, how is it possible that you have given this knowledge to Sun God, who is much more superior to, in the sense, he was born long, long ago. How can you give it to Sun God? Please explain. And Krishna says that there was never a time I was not there. There was never a time you were not there. I remember all my lives, but you don't. So this is the position of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So God, he is unborn, but yet out of his own sweet will, for performing pastimes, for the protection of the devotees, for annihilating the miscreants who are deviating from his instructions, that is dharma, he takes incarnations. It's not a birth. You can't call it a material birth. Okay? When Lord Sri Krishna was born, he showed his four-handed form to Devaki. You see, he was not born like an ordinary child. You see, an ordinary child, when he's born from the womb, you see that the child is smeared with blood and there is some liquids, right, from the womb. And then the doctors wipe. That was not how Krishna was born. When Krishna was born, he was born with ornaments on his body. And he was with all the dress and very beautiful ornaments. And then he immediately showed his 400 form. And he explained to Devaki and Vasudeva, the reason why I have taken birth is because you have performed austerities in your previous lifetimes. In your previous lifetimes, you have been my father and mother. In this lifetime also, you are my father and mother. It is my grace on you. So this is a different kind of a birth. So this is what Arjuna has to understand, and Krishna is explaining to Arjuna, and Krishna is explaining to all of us about this knowledge. You see, we need to be oriented about what is our position, what is the position of God. We are conditioned living entities. We are born in a normal manner. We don't choose our parents, right? We are not born with a 400 form, or we are not born with ornaments or anything like that. We don't choose our time of birth, time of death, anything actually, for that matter. Nothing is, everything is chosen by Krishna. Karmana daiva netrena, everything chosen by Krishna. Krishna decides where this person must be born, which family, what kind of health, what kind of body, everything decided by God. So this is the position of God. So this is called as transcendental knowledge. So transcendental knowledge is all about understanding who I am. This is called jnana. To get a detailed definition of what is jnana, we get it in the 13th chapter, where Arjuna asks, what is jnana, what is jnana? What is knowledge and what is the object of knowledge? And Krishna responds and says that the knowledge about the super soul, that is knowledge about Krishna, is called knowledge. And what is jnana, object of knowledge? I myself am the object of knowledge. Krishna is saying, I am the object of knowledge. Veda ischa sarvair ahameva vedyo. The entire education, entire knowledge, entire research, entire Vedas, everything, all the education system, everything, any kind of knowledge is actually meant for realizing Krishna. To understand who Krishna is. That is called true education. As long as our education is not helping us to understand God, understand who's Krishna, then we cannot call it education anymore. That is not called Vidya. We must call it Avidya. So we call Vidyalaya. No, we should call it Avidyalaya. If you're not able to understand about Krishna, if you're not able to understand about God, then it's still avidya. It's ignorance. Because the symptom is, as soon as we understand the position of God, just like I told you the example, as soon as I realize that uh, my roommate or my neighbor is the prime minister of the country, then immediately I'll become very alert. Then I'll be like very conscious of every action that I'm doing. So similarly, this is called transcendental knowledge. And one who has understood this full knowledge, such a person, he will no longer be engaged in sense gratification. You see? So that person is said to be a worker for whom all the reactions of the work have been burnt up, because they are burned by the fire of perfect knowledge. This perfect knowledge will burn up all the reactions of our previous lifetimes. Because of these reactions, that is karma, we are unable to understand Krishna. Because to understand Krishna, we need to have a lot of pious activity. To be even able to be present in a Bhagavad-gītā class, we need a lot of pious activity. That's why this path is not a path of choosing. It's not that I chose Krishna consciousness. We cannot say I chose Krishna consciousness. That's an ignorant statement. The correct statement, the Upanishads is saying, Krishna chooses you. So God chooses whom he wants to give. God chose Arjuna, and God gave that knowledge to Arjuna. It's not that Arjuna chose himself, or somebody came and they elected and they said, okay, give me the knowledge. No, that's not how we get the knowledge of Krishna. This is a very confidential knowledge, and it is only for those people Krishna chooses. That's a very important point. You see? So this is the perfect knowledge. And when we hear this perfect knowledge about Krishna, then all our past reactions will be gone. So this is the reason why we are hearing the pastimes of Krishna. Why do we have Srimad Bhagavatam classes every now and then? Every Saturday we have Srimad Bhagavatam class. Every day we are hearing Bhagavad-gītā. Why? The reason is to get this knowledge. To get this knowledge about Krishna, about his pastimes. Because when we hear about this, all our past reactions will be burnt up. So for such a person who has clearly understood who is God, for such a person, he will not have any kind of a sense gratification mindset. He's no longer interested in sense gratification. It's just like this, right? How do we behave in front of our superiors? Now, let us say you're working in an office, happens, right? So then, let's say the vice president of that region is coming for a visit. So as soon as that vice president comes, right, we are all very, alert. We come back from the lunch very quickly. We finish our lunch very quickly and just come there. And we are like standing, we're sitting very carefully, and we don't know what that person will say. We're not having some extended breaks, extended tea breaks. We never know when that person is going to come and address. Very careful. Similarly, a person who understands clearly about God, the conception about God, he no longer will be doing some kind of a sense gratificatory exercises, because he has got clarity now. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is Krishna, and I am his servant. So sometimes people ask, why did God create so many people, so many living entities? Why is everybody suffering? So the answer for that is, you see, if there is a very rich man, there's a very rich man who has got, let us say, 50 servants, 100 servants. Will we question such a person? Why do you have 50 servants? Why do you have 100 servants? It's because he affords so many servants. Because he is so rich, that's why he has so many servants. Similarly, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he's so opulent, he's so rich, he's so great that he has so many servants. All of us are his servants. So many, all the living entities, including the trees, birds, beasts, everybody is a servant of Krishna. We are all the servants of Krishna. If we understand this point, right, this is called knowledge. This is called right knowledge. So in the next verse, it says here, Tyaktva karma phala sangam nitya trupto nirashrayah karmanyabhi pravrittopi naiva kinchit karoti saha. Abandoning attachment to the result of his activities, ever satisfied and independent, he performs no fruitive action, although engaged in all kinds of undertaking. What does that mean? What is the meaning of karma? We are trying to explore the depth of karma. How many of you would like to know that? What's this karma all about? Because all our life we face karma. Is it not? Is it not? How many times in our life we say, oh, my bad karma? At least in India. Don't we say that? Those who are not coming from the Vedic religion, those who are from the Abrahamic religion, they don't have the concept of karma. So when there is a difficulty that comes to them, I don't know what they will be justifying it with. But as far as we Indians are concerned, everybody knows this, that when something very tragic happens, something unexpected happens, I immediately say, my bad karma. Or we'll say that, oh, her bad karma, his bad karma. Yes or no? So destiny is for real. So people don't believe in God, but you have to believe in destiny, because every now and then, every single day, we are seeing our destiny in action. So something unexpected keeps happening every single day. Any observant person can clearly see that. I unexpectedly have applied for a job and I got the job and my life has changed. How many times we have heard this kind of stories from our parents, right? That I did not know what I wanted to do. I just saw a posting on the newspaper and somehow I applied for it. And luckily, I was one of so many thousands of people and I got the job. And after that, I've settled so much. I got so much of wealth. I was able to buy the house. These kind of stories, how many stories did we hear? Even did it happen in our life? That something happened by good luck or bad luck. Maybe finding a partner is also a luck. Being born in a family is also luck. To be able to be living in a peaceful society is also good luck. Or peaceless society, that is also destiny. We think, what kind of bad karma did I do? I have this kind of a neighbor. Don't we think like that? So this karma is for real. So karma, Krishna is explaining the depth of karma. We only know that karma is in action, but nobody knows how to cut this karma. We know karma, vikarma, only two. What is that? We know what is the correct action, what is the wrong action. Right action is about, we know, okay, good action. Maybe we may not have the textual definition given in the Vedas, but everybody has got some sense or some kind of definition that this is a good action, this is a bad action. Okay, this is something good, this is something bad. We're supposed to, you do this, this is good, do that, this is bad. This conception we have. Krishna is talking about something which is beyond good and bad. Good and bad. Beyond good and bad. What's that? What's beyond good and bad? I'll tell you. Let's say you're in an army. You're an army officer. Imagine yourself now. You're in the army officer and you're in midst of a war. You have to follow the commands of your authority. Your military commander is going to give you commands and you have to just follow the actions. Now define what's a good action, what's a bad action in that. So can we say that if you're killing the enemy, it's a bad action? Can we say that? Is that a bad action in the war? Can anybody tell me? Following the
No,
commands.
Prabhuji, no.
Is it a
That
good
is his
action?
prescribed duty.
Yeah. Is that a good action? If he's following his command said, okay, go shoot. Is that a good action? Tell me.
Yes, Prabhuji.
In a sense, it
Yes,
is.
Prabhu, he's performing his duty.
Yes, he's performing his duty. But what I'm trying to say is, it's neither good nor bad. The reason is, he's simply following the instructions. Are you trying to get the point? He's not, if he uses his mind and maybe he thinks that, okay, I should do this and he does it on his own, maybe that you can classify it as good action. But then he's like a fully surrendered servant. The commander said shoot, I will shoot. The commander said stop, I will stop. There is no question of good or bad here. It's all about following the instructions of the authority. Similarly, Krishna is the supreme commander, okay, for this entire universe. So when Krishna says shoot, Arjuna must shoot. That's it. Now there is no consideration whether Arjuna does not need to think whether should I fight or not, whether should I do this or not. This is not required because the superior authority has decided. The topmost supreme authority has decided that this must be done. The war must be fought. You must fight. You are my instrument. Arjuna has to understand his position and just simply execute that instructions. So then there is no good or bad in that. How many of you are getting what I'm saying? How many of you are getting what I'm saying? There's no good or bad. When you're doing your duty, there is no good or bad. It's just a duty. We have to do our duty. Krishna told to Yudhishthir Maharaj, tell that Ashwatthama died. It's a controversial topic. People actually take it out of context because they don't understand who is Krishna. Krishna said, tell a lie. What would you do? Think about it. What would you do? Would you be attached to mundane definition of a morality, or would you just follow the instructions of the Supreme Personality of Godhead? What would you do? What are you attached to? Are you attached to the Supreme Lord, or are you attached to mundane morality? Morality is given by Krishna. His name is Satya. He is the truth. He is the supreme eternal truth. He is also called as Satya Narayana. Satyam Param Dhimahi. And the supreme absolute truth is telling, tell a lie. Then what are we supposed to do? What are we supposed to do? Yudhishthira Maharaj was like having a problem. He was having a difficulty because his own attachment towards his moral compass is a personal attachment. It's not a spiritual attachment. So he's thinking about good, bad. I'm not supposed to do this. I'm not supposed to do this. But she said, tell a lie. He said the lie. And Krishna was pleased. And it is actually said that the reason why Yudhishthira Maharaj went to hell for some time is because he did not follow the instructions of Krishna. So in our life also, what is good, what is bad? If you follow the instructions of Krishna, it is good. If you neglect the instructions of Krishna, it's bad. It's as simple as that. This is the easiest definition of dharma. This is the topmost dharma. To please Krishna is dharma. Get that? So the purpose of the Varnashrama dharma, the purpose of everything in Sanatana dharma is to please the Supreme Lord Krishna. Okay? So one person, anybody who understands that, who abandons the attachment to his own thought process, his moral compass, his thought process. Arjuna has got his own moral compass. He's saying, I'm not supposed to be fighting. They are my relatives. Nobody kills relatives. How can I fight with my elders? Krishna said, do your duty for my pleasure. That's it. That is your topmost duty. This is spirituality. Doing your duty for the pleasure of Guru and Krishna is called the real duty. That's a real warrior. Then that's when we become a transcendental spiritual warrior. We all have to become spiritual warriors in life. Just have to simply execute the instructions of the Supreme Lord. Understand, first of all, who is Krishna. Understand his instructions. And just simply execute. So that's when Krishna is saying such a person is called a self-realized person. Person who has no attachment for the result of his activities, who is satisfied and is independent, performs no karma. That's the secret, devotees. As long as you do based on your whimsical thoughts, your own moral compass, your own value systems, your own likes and dislikes, that's called karma. And it is subject to punishment of the material nature. If you follow the Vedic principles, you'll get rewarded. If you discard, you'll get punished. Nevertheless, the reward is also a punishment because the reward is material reward. If you follow the Vedic principles, then you will get promoted to the higher planetary system. That's still a punishment. It's like a Tihar jail. You see, Tihar jail, there are many categories. Okay. One is like the C class. One is A class. A class is for those people who are great politicians, very big people. Okay, they've got an AC. Nevertheless, it's a Tihar jail. TV may be there, AC may be there, but still it's jail. Agreed? Do you agree? Got it? How many of you got that? We are in a Tihar jail right now. Okay, we may be in a first class jail or a third class jail. Nevertheless, we are in a jail. We don't have independence. We speak about independence, but really we are not independent. We are actually completely dependent. For everything we are dependent. We have no independence at all. Where is the dependence? Where is the independence? We're completely dependent on our body. We are completely attached to our body. Where is the independence? There is no independence. So that's the thing. Karma means acting as per the instructions of the Vedas. Vikarma means neglecting the instructions of Vedas and doing a sinful activity. But Bhagavad-gītā, Krishna is neither encouraging Arjuna to do karma, nor he is telling him to do vikarma. What is he telling? Akarma. What's akarma? Can anybody unmute and tell me? By now you must have understood. What's akarma?
Inaction.
What's inaction?
It's inaction in
not doing the
action. Inaction in action.
Inaction in action, that's right. But is Krishna trying to say, Arjuna, stop doing everything? Is that what he's trying to say? Akarma means don't do, don't fight. He's not fighting what Krishna is saying. Or is he saying fight? What is he saying exactly?
He's saying you do the action without being expecting any results and without being attached to the results.
Is that enough?
And offer your results to Krishna.
For whose satisfaction?
For Krishna's satisfaction.
That's akarma. That's akarma.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you. To do your prescribed duties without attachment to the results for the satisfaction of Krishna is called akarma, and such a person does not perform any action even though he's doing all actions. That's what is the secret. He may be performing so many activities. Arjuna and the Pandavas, they have fought this war of Kurukshetra and they have massacred millions of people. So is that a sinful activity? Is that a sinful activity? It's not, because they just did it for Krishna. They did it for the pleasure of Krishna. It's actually akarma. Okay, they are doing perfect. Even though they are doing every kind of activity, they are fighting with him, fighting with that, fighting, everything they are doing, but still it's akarma. They're doing it for the pleasure of Krishna. Okay, they all went back to Godhead. All right, so let's stop here. Any questions? Any quick ones? Hare Krishna.